Welcome to Probe. 4 members of the clergy have altogether been charged, and one of them has so far been convicted of crimes involving the sexual abuse of minors. All of this has taken place over the last 2 months or less. It is almost as if there has been a pandemic of this kind of thing in Jamaica. Judging from recent media reports, nothing has quite captivated the interest of such a broad cross-section of the Jamaican people as has these incidents. So, what is the approach that law enforcement is taking? Let's consider the problem of sexual abuse and where it originates. It isn't surprising that we have those many incidents. We have a broken family structure, we have fractured community economy, we have situations in which people live in the kind of cramped conditions that does not allow sufficient separation of the sexes, including adults and children, adult male sleeping with children in spaces that children sleep and not their own children. We have situations where mothers farm out their daughters in order to, shall we say, make ends meet. And we have a situation in which clearly the social psychology of many of our men folk show the signs of some kind of pathology, needing help. And one of the ways in which this manifests itself is with men dominating their women by dominating children. So we have a serious situation in Jamaica. And the fact now that clearly there is evidence that even among people who are trained, that hold offices of sacred trust, they also are alleged to be abusing our children. Do we get any real sense that the approach to this particular prosecution of the clergy, which should be prosecuted if in fact the allegations are sustained, is part of a deeper coming to terms by the society with the problem of the sexual abuse of minors, of the mistreatment of our children? One would have thought that what we see in the action by Sissoko that led to the charge of 2 Moravian ministers latterly. The first one, 3 Moravian ministers altogether have been charged. One, kind of caught with his pants down. And then now there are 2 that have been charged based on some allegations of what happened in 2004, 2002, and so on. I put it to the head of Sissoko, Superintendent Enid Ross Stewart, as to whether the police would treat any allegation like the ones against the clergy in the same manner, prosecuted with the enthusiasm and focus and discipline and effectiveness that we have seen with the 2 Moravian clergy. And she assured me, knowing as she does, that there is at least one that has been posted on social media which alleged that somebody in prominent position raped her repeatedly between age 13 and 18. I asked whether or not Sissoko has taken the same approach, and Superintendent Ross, who is a no-nonsense woman who claims her own impartiality and independence, says that there is one basic criteria that the allegation still posted on social media and has been there since 2015 failed to meet. And that criteria is that in the case of the allegations made by against the Moravian minister, a complainant came to the police and gave a written statement, was subjected to medical examination, even though I suggested to her that medical examination 13 years later is irrelevant. And she says it's corroborated. By contrast, she says that in the case of the allegation, the person is in another jurisdiction. And she says that the first requirement is that she returns the person making this allegation that she was raped repeatedly by somebody now holding significant public office. The first requirement is that that person should travel to Jamaica and give a signed statement to the police. I pressed her a little bit. I asked her if the person is alleging that she is threatened, she feels unsafe, she feels at risk, and is afraid to return to Jamaica, are there other options? Would the police go to England to take the statement? Could Scotland Yard take the statement from the person making the allegation? Isn't this serious enough? Doesn't it go to the heart of the integrity of law enforcement? Because this is such a serious crime. And we want to be clear that the law is blind, justice is blind. It goes who's either side, no matter who you are. Shouldn't we make it plain that that is our single-minded commitment as a country? Facilitate this person. She indicated one criteria. She said she spoke to the lady a year ago, and since that time she has been waiting for the lady to come to Jamaica and make the charge in person. And I raised with her the sense that what we have is a stalemate, because a person victimized, or so she claims, like any other child, afraid because of positions ostensibly held by her victimizer, is not willing to take the chance to come to Jamaica. So I wanted to find out whether or not there are other options, and I expect to have a conversation with the former Minister of Justice to discuss with me what the Mutual Assistant Criminal Matters Act mean. Is it relevant? Could it be used in this situation? Could the government exploit that in order to give this thing to come to a public hearing? We need to have it done, because we are a society that sends mixed messages, minibuses that operate irregularly, if not also illegally. Very often there are stories of children being abused sexually in the public transportation space by people operating these buses, and it goes on almost unabated. We had a situation of a gentleman with Jamaican connection convicted in another jurisdiction, welcomed with press conference and all but red carpet and so on. Are we serious about getting to the bottom of this? I asked Mark Golin whether there are other tools, and I look forward to his response.
This is a matter of great public importance because, as you've said, this is an allegation. It's in the form of a sworn deposition or affidavit that was made by the alleged victim in London, and it has gone viral essentially in Jamaica. And it concerns somebody who, as you said, holds very high public office and a very sensitive post. Therefore, it is absolutely essential that it be resolved. It shouldn't be left to linger. Mm-hmm. And I think that in the circumstances, there are at least two options open to the police. One is I should start by saying to expect the alleged victim to come to Jamaica to give a statement is unrealistic, I think. This is a person who is a victim, allegedly, of serious sexual assault, and who has been out of the country for some time, and where the alleged perpetrator is somebody of significant influence in the society. That person should not be forced to come here if they're not comfortable in doing so, to give a statement. The matter is sufficiently serious and of sufficient national importance that I think the police should send an officer to London to interview the person and carry out whatever additional investigations may be relevant over there. At that point, the police can decide whether they think it should be taken further. Alternatively, we have a statute in place called the Mutual Assistance in Criminal Matters Act, which is designed to enable a country where is seeking to investigate and prosecute a case, an offense against its own laws, but where relevant evidence is outside of its borders, it can apply through that statute and through the treaties which underpin that statute through the relevant authorities, the judicial authorities and prosecutorial authorities of wherever the evidence is, for assistance in having that evidence taken, and procedures are in place to invoke that. And the UK and Jamaica are in a position to take advantage of that regime. In fact, the Commonwealth has a thing called the Harari Scheme, which was designed to enable Commonwealth countries generally to give mutual legal assistance to each other. That would, of course, require the cooperation of the police and the DPP, who is delegated by the Minister of Justice as the competent authority for that legislation. And it's a more formal procedure and would take longer. But I think that in this instance, the practical and simplest way of dealing with this is for a police officer to go to the UK and interview this young lady and see, what she has to say and take it from there. Even looking at it from the point of view of the alleged perpetrator, who's the holder of a senior office, if I were that person, I would want that to be done. I wouldn't want the situation to remain one in which there is this thing out there about alleged serious misconduct on his part, and all we have by way of rebuttal is his own public pronouncement that it's a false, it's completely without substance. I think he would, if I were him, I would want to clear my name and clear up the matter, and I would want the Jamaican authorities to take action towards that end. And it's invoked in much less high-profile cases on a fairly regular basis. Yeah, the Parliament does have some procedures which allow questions to be asked by persons and so on. It's not designed to facilitate criminal investigations. That's not really what the purpose of those mechanisms is. The purpose is really to get at information about matters of public importance that to do with the government. This concerns really the private conduct of an individual long before the person was the holder of the office that he now holds. I mean, if the allegations were true, it would definitely be devastating because the allegations are of serious criminal conduct. And they're not statute barred or anything. There's no relevant limitation period for such crimes in this country. So it's a matter really of I think the police acting sufficiently independently. The operational as opposed to policy divide is in our law in relation to the police force, and the commissioner is responsible for operational decisions, and I think too is what gets investigated and how. I don't think the fact that the individual concerned is somebody who's a holder of high office with significant influence in the country should deter the police from doing the basic investigation that's necessary. And yes, there would be some cost attached to sending an officer there. However, as I've already said, the interest in the matter and the importance of the matter is such that it needs to be looked into seriously, and let the chips fall where they may.
The matter of the abuse, the sexual abuse of our children is serious. It is a pandemic, it appears. I believe the law must follow the allegations where it is required. I think it must be dealt with without fear or favor. And anybody careless enough or cruel enough to do this deserve the full arm of the law.